generally because even though carry benefits a lot from Malefic Gun, there are a lot of gold lane heroes that benefit even more. Bracket finals. The winner of the series goes directly to the grand finals.
Right off the bat, it does seem as though both Indonesia as well as Philippines, they would want to get themselves the lane priority in middle lane as much as possible. When Indonesia, both of their EXP laners are getting out of their lanes fast as well. So without further ado, with El Puerto is going to in first.
Yep, they're also going to be taking quite a lot of damage here. Change. Vivian on this show has already shown that she is quite capable on quite a high mechanic hero, and this is a hero that can do quite a lot of damage early on as well, so gotta respect that.
Yeah, just right off the bat, it does seem as though Indonesia, they want to be so overly aggressive. I mean, definitely great to see that they are just trying to ensure that Immortus would not be able to kind of wave clear fast enough with the Ocean Oddity as well as Breath of the Ocean.
Ogi Shadow Kill on Vivero, but Revitalize will keep her alive quite easily. I think Indonesia expects they're not going to be able to get easy kills early on, but the more pressure they put, the better it's going to be.
And just moving on forward, 1 minute and 50 seconds into the game, El Preto makes his way down to the bottom lane.
Yup, Purify forced out on Shell already, and that is going to be first blood. Perez, one final last hit going to be landing on the heart. Vival coming in, does not have the Ogi Shadow Kill, sadly. Otherwise, that could have been a double kill.
It could have been, definitely. Especially since the turtle has just spawned up to the top lane. If the kill actually landed on the El Puerto, that is a crazy amount of shift that will be going into the hands of Indonesia. But unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. Philippines will still have got themselves a pretty good lead onto, or rather, a pretty good priority over the turtle all around, with only the Highlands just trying to defend it.
Yeah, I think Team Philippines so far has been doing a very good job of dealing with aggression, but the moment I say that, Perez getting ganked, has to flicker away, still is able to survive. Meanwhile, in the riverside, Vivero taking quite a lot of poke from Cine and Vivian as well, but here comes Amores in backline with Patrai. Flicker from Vivian, Shinpo shield actually keeping her alive! So still, no deaths on either team.
This is absolutely crazy, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be over just yet. As Fumi Echo as well as Fini, they really want to get some priority.
Yeah, Glorious Pathway comes in. El Puerto still gets the turtle away. Good retreat timing. Vival a bit too late for it. And that means that Indonesia just have to awkwardly walk out of the turtle pit with nothing.
Yeah, I mean, with all that all said and done, the bottom lane is still pretty much going hard at it. As you can definitely tell that Chell, he can definitely deal a decent amount of damage against the carry in the early stages of the game. So I would say the Philippines will probably want to focus down in the bottom lane to ensure that the carry will be safe and sound for the next 5 minutes, or at least until the turret gets destroyed.
Yeah, I can see that happening for sure. Cine in some trouble, actually playing around the wall. El Puerto no, gets caught out with the Ogi Shadow Kill. NetherRealm keeps Cine alive as well. The Ling being punished for trying to get some cheeky mid lane kills.
And just like that, the total coming up in about a minute or so. It's pretty much fair to say that Indonesia, they have been playing according to what they want to do in the early stages, right? With the Cho as well as the Faramis that can mostly be running around a lot, they can always provide a lot of support and to ensure that their main damage dealers just don't go down for the counters easily, especially since we need the Hayabusa as well as the Harif to get a decent amount of farm before going into the mid stages of the game, which is post 8 minutes. If they have got a good laning phase, then it's pretty fair to say that they will be able to get themselves on the lead against their counterpart, and that is slightly going to increase the chances of winning in the late stages.
Yeah, I think we have to recognize that team composition-wise, I think Indonesia peaks a little bit closer to the mid-game, whereas Philippines are quite comfortable playing for the late game. So while I do like that the Filipino team is willing to be kind of aggressive, they gotta be careful not to give too many kills over to the cores of Indonesia. And ooh, even missing out the Raging Sandstorm, Vivian already knowing that her opponents are waiting.
It's gonna be a little bit tough at this point in time, let's be honest here. But right now, got the Indonesians that has already gotten priority of the Lord. Chell, Vival, as well as Sydney. Vivero looking for an opportunity. They're definitely going to strike soon.
Yep, Alpuerto jumping in, looking for the timing. Sydney gonna get the pull on Vivero, buying a lot of space. Vival gonna be able to get the turtle away. NetherRealm comes out as well to deny a lot of the rough waves damage. Fumi Echo now coming in from the flank with the Glorious Pathway. A great stun. Anton coming in from Diagon, but she's all by herself in the backline. 1v4. So the Gatot will be the only casualty of this exchange.
And just like that, seems like with only one man down from the side of Philippines and Indonesia having a pretty good lead on top of that. Oh, Vivero almost going down for the count, but luckily he does have the Raging Sandstorm to get himself away. And thus, Philippines, they have definitely wanting to put their face right in the face of Indonesia, but both teams have very similar early game win condition. And that is to get themselves a little bit more tempo into the midst of the game and to ensure that they get themselves a good, decent amount of lead. Because both teams, they want their pause 1 and the pause 2 to eventually go crazy post top minutes.
And I think that's exactly why we are seeing Indonesia hold a slight advantage at this time. Although their win conditions are somewhat similar, having this Faramis around really helps prolong team fights and turn things around even when the Philippines look for better engagements. We see a lot of the burst damage just straight up being directly negated. And that is preventing the Philippines from being able to get these quick pickoffs that they're good at.
I think one of the very kind of like a wasted part is the fact that they drafted a Cho, but hold on a second, Philippines are getting attacked.
Yeah, the Cho actually managing to avoid everything and even flickering it with Way of the Dragon. AOG knocks up 3, but there's not quite enough damage. Alpuerto is not even part of the fight, and NetherRealm has already been dropped down, so Indonesia taking literally 0 damage from all of this. Vivian now quite far out, but I don't think Philippines can commit to this any longer.
One thing that I definitely want to see is a little bit more pickoff coming from the side of Indonesia since they do have a Cho. But unfortunately, they don't have anyone that can exactly make full use of the Way of the Dragon at the start of the game, right? If you're able to reposition the members from the side of Philippines, you can definitely burst that one person down, but Indonesia just doesn't have anyone to do that.
But they're totally fine just taking things slow and continuing to harass. Way of the Dragon on top of Alpuerto while Vival is taking the turtle. Tempest Blaze though gonna be punishing Vivian, but the rough wave is doing a lot of damage actually. There's no NetherRealm available, and that means that Indonesia actually getting burst down quite hard. They'll lose Vivero, but that's in exchange for a double kill on Alpuerto.
Now that is definitely tough, especially since Vivian didn't manage to find a Way of Dragon onto Alpuerto. But back to the problem itself, they don't have anyone that can really burst anyone down that got hit by the Way of Dragon. As such, Alpuerto have a very simple escape, and that is a simple tap of the Tempest of Blade to get herself in a safe position and also in a counter-attack position. As long as Philippines, they are ready to bring a Morris right in with the Ocean Oddity together with the Purify, or rather the Stone Age. It's gonna break.
Amoris on flank gonna be able to burst down Shell despite the Zaman force, and now Fumi Echo gonna be the next target. Glorious Halfway and Revitalized though keeps her topped up very easily. Vivian now 1v3 to defend the tower, and even Tempest Blades committed to force out the NetherRealm in the mid lane. Philippines now starting to up the tempo at the 9-minute mark.
We're really starting to see how Philippines like to engage in their fights, especially since Vivero does not have the flicker onto the Raging Sandstorm. And Morris being one of the main important engager going into Ocean Oddity and as well as the Petrify. That is definitely one of the main things that Philippines will want to do. Bushwhack and just ensure that they catch the opponents completely off guard. As such, it is definitely going to be the brushes that will be their territory. The moment that they give Indonesia any form of control in these brushes, they, Philippines themselves, lose a massive amount of lead on as to how they would want to pick off the members from the side of Indonesia, and perhaps, in this case, even on how they can start a fight.
Yeah, both teams are actually surprisingly capable of going for ambushes, but I do believe Indonesia is a little bit better at just straight up team fighting due to that NetherRealm. That's why, like you mentioned, Abstract, Philippines cannot afford to give up surprise advantage. They gotta use flanks and angles properly so that they can bait out resources before fully committing to a kill.
Especially since Kadita, oh, hold on a second, almost managed to find something on the Chell, but That is a Purify that's gonna be immediately popped, but that's not all. Amoris.
Fumi Echo with the Glorious Pathway trying to cut them off, but Vivero buying a lot of space and time. AOG on 3 members, Netherrealm and Revitalize all the way out, but Philippines still surviving all of it with that Quicksand Guard out from Vivero. The lanes are going to be popping out, killing spree for El Puerto as they're juggling counter aggro beautifully on the Filipino side. Indonesia not being able to take the fight inside the own half of their map, but now the Summon Force comes out. Vivero finally punished for staying around a bit too long. Philippines, this may not be where you want to stay, and now Perez is going to be caught out, but a beautiful flicker timing to avoid the Ogi Shadow kill and disjointing it away. El Puerto jumping in, looking for the kill on Vival, but gonna lose her life in exchange. Shut down for Shell. Fumi Echo running away from Amoris, also going to be able to escape. Philippines overstaying their welcome.
Simply fascinating. Coming in from the flicker from the side of Paris. Didn't go down at all throughout the entire engagement with a very well-timed flicker, but Diagon decides to go in an AOG.
Diagon's trying to delay this Lord. He wants to buy time for El Puerto, but we have the Dragon now onto Perez. That's a lot of damage right there. Ghostbusters finishing off Perez on the carry, and now the rest of Team Philippines being chased down. Mega kill for Shell as they continue diving into the PH side of the map. El Puerto able to get purple buff at least, but tempo and momentum has definitely shifted.
There's definitely a very strong front from the side of Indonesia. They may definitely have a little bit of problem when it comes down to singling out people and getting the burst damage in the early game, but we have just ended 12 minutes. And this is where the Harif will definitely get a little bit more damage as compared to the counterparts of Carry, since Carry requires a lot more items before she's able to do anything remotely useful, being the Holy Trinity. While as for the side of Chell that's playing as the Harif, all you realistically really need is the Feather of Heaven, as well as the Starlium Scythe. And from that point onwards, your Starlium Scythe would do so much true damage.
Vivian trying to get away with the Dragon, uses the flicker, not quite the angle she was looking for though, and that means Philippines can chase her down and punish Vivian for that attempt. So the Lord still going to be pushing up against them down in the bottom lane. Glorious Pathway comes up from Fumi Echo. Once again, AOG going to miss, unfortunately. Good positioning by the Indonesian side. Vival clearing up mid lane. The Philippines still going to be able to hold on to all their structures.
And just like that, with about a few more minutes to go until Perez gets all the farm that she needs in order to really just burst down this Hylos, because so far, Hylos has been really pesky and very difficult to take down despite only having a single Revitalize in the composition itself. Both Indonesia as well as Philippines, they are very front line heavy, and as long as they are able to find a way to just deal with the front lines, it will always be a problem solved. While both teams, they have answers to deal with the back lines.
I'm honestly impressed at the retry timing from El Puerto, though so far still been able to secure her purple buff despite the attempts from Team Indonesia to make sure that she does not have it. This is going to give Philippines a little bit more time to play around, but Glorious Pathway comes out once again. AOG knock-up on Fumi Echo only. Vivero, Freezing Sandstorm defensively, actually able to escape from Indonesia, but the mid inhibitor will fall. Ogi Shadow Kill comes out, but Petrify gonna cancel it. So Vival still picks up the killing spree. Wait, Dragon onto El Puerto from the flank, saved for the perfect moment. Unstoppable streak for Shell, and now Indonesia looking for the coup de grace.
On hindsight, probably not the best idea to go for the Tempest of Blaze on the show.
But they will still be able to jump forward, and Indonesia, beautiful gameplay, punishing Philippines left and right, and forcing their hand with an easy victory in game number 1.
You can definitely see and tell the difference of when Indonesia found out that they have the power spike already. They have an internal timer that they told themselves, we need to play safe and we need to play past them all the way from the start until I believe that it was about 10 minutes into the game. Only by 10 minutes in the game, they knew that they have got the number, they have got the damage above of their enemies, and they have that small little window to make it all work out, and that small little window for them to make it into this summit. And indeed, they managed to. In just a short matter of 2 minutes, we've got Indonesia that managed to flush out the entirety of Philippines out of their bushwhack position.